What are we doing?
I don't know. Just talking.
All right.
Yeah.
It's Midcard Mana. Everyone, just in case anyone's forgotten. Sam Keola, the wrestling connoisseur. It's his birthday.
Still.
Happy
my birthday.
Happy Rusev birthday. And this
I was
is
born
the
on
loose
Rusev
cannon.
Day. Yeah.
Machka. It's like Mazel Tov, except for Rusev Day.
I wouldn't have booked so many nostalgia acts in the Women's Rumble.
Oh, so that's what we're talking about. We're talking about the Women's Rumble. So we counted it, and there were 11 nostalgia acts. There were
for the first Rumble. I mean,
10,
way too many.
10.
Because let's be serious. Like, most of them are still going to be around next year.
Yeah.
I don't want to sound morbid, but most of them are going to be around. I can see like Michelle McCool. I can see Trish, Lita, especially Lita. She may not be around next year. Every year I'm like, oh, Lita's still around. And Beth Phoenix. Like those four, I could see being in the Rumble. But like I would have used those other 6 spots.
It was
7 spots.
It was bizarre for like people like
NXT,
Kelly to come back, or people like Tori Wilson. Tori Wilson to me was the weirdest outlier. I'm sorry if for anyone who watches our show who might be a super big fan of Tori Wilson. She was a weird
talking
outlier.
about you, Billy Kidman. I know you're
watching.
Yeah,
but I mean, I could understand Molly Holly in a sense, because Molly Holly was sort of supposed to be like their spiritual predecessor of Ruby Riott and the Riot Squad. Yeah. So like, her unconventional looks and blah blah blah.
Yeah. They should have had her come out bald. That'd been great.
They should have had Serena Deeb come out bald.
Have her out there bald too. AJ Lee, like if anybody,
AJ would have gotten a huge pop, but there was no way she was gonna come back.
So yeah, I mean, I can see Trish, I can see those other couple, but I would have booked more NXT. And more from Mae Young Classic. There was
an astounding lack of NXT. There was Ember Moon, the NXT Women's Champion, and then there was Kairi Sane, who I guess was more of the Mae Young sort of representative than. But I mean, Iconic Duo didn't show up. Nikki Cross didn't show up.
Just gonna make this about the women's division. The women's division overall just is not pushed. They don't get real storylines.
Well, I mean, it's also sort of along the lines of
they don't have
like
make time for
having Total Divas still be something that is important.
It should be, but it has nothing to do with the WWE programming. Yeah. Really, essentially, it's a soap opera. If it fed back into WWE programming,
if there's more division, of a tie-in,
that would be great. I understand the timing conflict wouldn't exactly work because they don't like film it and air it immediately. But if you just take it and film it and air it on the network, and then E gets it whenever, then figure it out. But
do it.
Just do it. Figure it out. If they did that, had it feed into the women's division, and give the women an hour on the network for their own show. Just do it already.
Sign a deal with USA where you have wrestling every day. Let's just do it. Let's just do it.
Well, I mean, they do it. Just do it. They want to have everything on the network, but then they don't want to pay to have new stuff on the network, which is fine. Film it, cut it together, and slap it on the network.
I mean, I think it would be a good opportunity to
and superstars.
I still say just five days a week wrestling, all on USA, different hours. So Monday can be Raw, Tuesday SmackDown, Wednesday NXT. I mean, they did have NXT on USA before.
Right.
Thursday, have that be 205. Just have it, because I think a lot of the problem with 205 is it goes on right after SmackDown, and a lot of people are burnt out by then.
Yeah. I was going to say, you don't want to oversaturate your market, though.
And then Friday women's.
If you had an hour women's show on the network on whatever day, you could always recap it on Raw and SmackDown. And kind of like, look, they did this on. Maybe I'll turn on to the women's show and watch it.
Maybe I'll subscribe to WWE Network for $9.99 a month.
Because I mean, Shimmer had a huge following. When my good friend Sean, when he quit watching wrestling, he kept watching Shimmer. You know, that was his only wrestling thing he was watching at the time. So I think that says a lot, especially since a lot of this Shimmer talent is making their way up to WWE.
And I mean, a lot of the current talent in the WWE cut their teeth in Shimmer.
Right.
When you look at people like Becky Lynch, Mercedes Martinez, who's a recent signee, Ember Moon, huge back when she was Athena. And then you have people coming up like Shayna Baszler as part of like one of the MMA 4 Horsewomen. She did a lot of work in Shimmer prior to coming to the WWE. So, that's where she did, I think, the majority of her training.
If you think about it, and you had a women's show, and you had a women's world title, not just a Raw title or SmackDown title, but a women's world title and tag titles. You don't necessarily need a secondary title yet, but it would give them a large enough division that would make sense instead of just like 6 women on each show, and you just rotate the girl around and you rotate the belt, and everybody has the title, and then it's worthless.
It's an argument that we've had a lot.
Yeah, I hate it. But you could also have storylines, and because the women don't really have storylines ever, like
except
the last
for Nia Jax's
was Nia Jax,
and
which
that
we
didn't
saw how
end
that
well.
went.
It was immediately dropped.
The only storyline I can think of was Nia and Alexa Bliss, and it was on again, off again. Like it looked like they were going to turn on each other, and then they're not. They're best friends.
And then she like electric chair dropped her.
And they've done the same story with like Sasha and Bailey for like the last 2 years. And so what I'm saying is, you know, they don't do storylines with the women at all.
Or they don't invest in it to the point where people.
And getting birthday text messages.
I'm not going to text you for your birthday.
Well, you're right here, so.
Yeah, but I thought about posting on Facebook, and I was like, no.
So yeah, I mean, they should give the women their own show, and then have those storylines feed in, and then they could either have their own women pay-per-views, or if
what is this? What is this? Glow?
What? Or, you know, you keep everything updated on Raw and SmackDown for what happened on the women's show, and you integrate those into your Raw and SmackDown pay-per-views, your major feuds and storylines.
Well, I think, and you know, as I said, I mentioned Glow facetiously, but especially with how many people are really starting to get into wrestling now that there's TV shows like Glow, it would be a really great opportunity to do some sort of crossover. And I mean, a lot of these people that did Glow, they have basic training, and a lot of them did actually do their own stunts. But I mean, I think it would be a really good opportunity to have that sort of crossover and get more people interested. Especially
with the modern climate of, I don't want to say women's revolution, but with how women are getting a voice.
Yeah.
In different aspects of life. I mean, it's fed into wrestling. Obviously, you know, this movement.
Oh, unrelated to this. How did you feel?
I felt very angry.
Do you know what I was going to talk about?
Raw.
Yeah, the Alexa Bliss thing. I thought that was so weird and contrived.
It was very McMahon.
Yes, it was.
He is a conservative,
and I was just like,
politically anyway.
What?
So it was like this nod toward
Kurt Angle's just like exhaustion, just like just
like he was like, you could tell like he had this script he had to memorize before he went on air.
Yeah, and he's like
he's trying to say it, and like the words are not coming out because he's like, he's probably thinking this is bullshit.
It was rough. It was rough to watch, and I was just like, who made Alexa Bliss do this?
Yeah.
Who made Alexa Bliss do this?
Because
I'm not even like super into Alexa Bliss, but I was like, why? But what is the purpose?
So here's the strange part about it. It was totally, like in today's climate, it's totally set up for her to do this and be a face. Right? Because, you know, and they swapped it to try to make her
look like a coward.
Out of it.
Be like, how come Brock Lesnar doesn't have to defend his belt in an elimination chamber, but I do?
Is it because I'm a woman?
It's like, is it because I'm a woman? I think that is against company policy and sexist. And I was just like,
which is totally true. And Angle's like, yeah, I can understand how you feel.
But
like
the
that.
WWE universe wants, and I was just
Right,
like,
everybody? Right?
and then they like it was a slow start because I think they had to have plants do it. Like plants had to start being like, yes.
You see Billy Gunn in the audience. Yes. Everybody say yes.
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 Yes. But it was rough. It was rough.
They are completely out of touch.
It was not very good.
So okay. So when you, for the writers, creative writing job they have on WWE.com, it says you have to have a understanding of pop culture and the WWE product.
I just only have an understanding of the WWE product.
Let me just say, well, I mean, like,
pop culture.
if we say like pop culture or just culture in general right now of what's going on in society with women,
of being woke,
and if you're woke at all,
I'm a woke moke, I guess,
and WWE culture and all that, and you look at that, and then you try to apply that to what you see on TV.
You should rip everything in half,
and it's like
it would just be Braun Strowman
totally
screaming at a camera for half an hour for me, just saying, "Get these hands, everybody." That's what I would write.
If you watch the news at all, and you don't get what's happening, and you look at the WWE program with that, you know,
it was a very weird sort of step in the wrong direction. I felt.
I was waiting for like Angle to say, "Go make me a sandwich. Get in the kitchen."
When it was funny because he had like the weak argument, and like they scripted this weak argument. It's like, well, Brock Lesnar defended his title at Royal Rumble, and you haven't defended since Hell in a Cell or something like that, or tables, ladders, and chairs.
Yeah.
And then she was like, "You're the one that books the matches. That was your choice." And I was just like,
it was it was very awkward and
dragged.
I was like, no,
but
why are you even doing this?
I felt like there wasn't purpose for making it into the in-ring segment that it was. I felt like it could have been done a whole lot better as just a backstage
I wonder
segment.
if Stephanie didn't book this thing. Like, okay, we're going to do this, and you're going to say this.
I'm sure Stephanie
and then
totally...
Vince got a hold of it. Because I've heard like they'll leave, like they'll book stuff and then they'll leave. And then like whoever's there changes it at the last minute. And like if Vince got a hold of it, he's like, no, we got to do this instead. And I don't know. I mean, it was very weird. Like, why would you even do that angle in the modern climate of society?
So I can believe that Stephanie would book that. I don't believe that Triple H would book something like that.
I don't either. But I believe Vince would.
Yes, I also believe Vince would.
Yeah. I mean, I totally believe Vince would because, you know, we had, was it Mae Young or Moolah that gave birth to a hand?
Oh, it's Mae Young. That was Mae Young's child with sexual chocolate, Mark
and
Henry.
And a soda bottle, I think. And a sub at one time.
I don't know.
It's like, oh, she gave, they had like a soda, a 2-liter, a sub sandwich, and a hand as children.
Yeah. The hand grew up.
And,
Mae Young, rest in peace.
Triple H raping a dead body.
That's right. But also Triple H drugging Stephanie and marrying her against her will.
Yep.
So it's you know, lots of things go on.
Within the context.
Vince McMahon making Trish Stratus strip down to her underwear and bark like a dog.
Within the context of what WWE has done in the past.
Like this comparatively isn't that bad, but I mean, it's still...
But they haven't gone down this path in a long time.
For being aware of pop culture in today's society, it was a little much.
It was way too much,
so,
especially for a women's revolution in wrestling.
As people who are as they say on the streets woke, and and being pretty big fans of WWE, basically what we're saying is hire us. We'll fix things.
Yeah,
he'll fix things.
I would so be.
I would just fangirl over Sami Zayn. This would be my life, but
I would probably blow up and be like, "What are you writing? This is crap," and then I would get fired.
Yeah,
guaranteed.
But I mean, you'd meet some wrestlers.
But like, if you were there, then you could like tape it, and then we could put it on here, and then huge, it go viral. Yeah, we
get hired as a team. By the way, you get the Midcard Mana team.
We don't split the pay though.
No.
We both have to get paid.
Yeah. I would gladly get paid by the shirts that Sami Zayn wears before he goes into the ring.
I was gonna say food.
Give me the shirts that he wears. Don't wash them.
I heard that when
I need it how it
turned
is.
this into a thing about WWE, but I read this one thing where they said that they'll have a creative meeting, and like the McMahons come in, like Vince and Steph, and I guess Shane. I don't know. And then they have like their servants.
Trips.
I call them servants, but I guess they're assistants. They have them go out and bring
Triple
in
H
food,
McMahon.
and like it's an all-day meeting, and like the writers don't have any food in this meeting for all day, but they get to see Vince and Stephanie just pig out. If I'm a writer, I'm bringing snacks. I will have a whole book bag of snacks.
That in of itself is just such a ridiculous wealth disparity. I just couldn't even.
I would pull out that sub sandwich that Mark Henry had. Oh yeah, that looks like a great salad, Vince. They'd be like, "Why are you eating? You're eating."
And then that's when
You're
you stand
fired.
up.
You're fired.
That's when you stand up. That's when you stand up and you tower over him, and you're just like,
That would be great. I pushed a Suburban off the road with my own hands. And then I flipped the table.
Oh, such a
Choke slam on the writers.
Or kind of related.
I have choke slammed
But
people through tables.
my parents, my dad specifically, hates Braun Strowman. Do you know why?
No.
Because he feels like having Braun Strowman flip a semi insults his intelligence. So my dad worked in the county motor pool for years.
Right.
Years. So he knows a lot about cars, how they're constructed,
They're
everything
heavy.
like that. Well, not just that, but he's like, if you were to pick up something like that from where he was picking it up, it would just snap right off because that's not meant to support all that weight. So he got really, really mad. Like it was the most invested I'd ever seen him in a WWE wrestling thing because he loves New Japan, so he'll go nuts for like Okada.
I think when
he got really upset. And he was like, "This insults my intelligence. Like they don't think that we're gonna know."
And I think Mark Henry had a lot of say at the time. The stuff they had Mark Henry do to show that he was a strong man was legit things. Like
that they
Henry was actually doing it.
That's what they do in strongman competitions.
He pulled, what was it, 2 big rigs?
Yeah.
And like he was actually doing that, and he actually broke a record on a televised event, and like he was doing all those things. And actually, like, there's a good story, like YouTube it, where Mark
Henry after you're done with watching our video,
yeah, Mark Henry was supposed to roll a steel pan in this segment, but Vince had them go out and get like his super cast, triple riveted, giant steel pan that no human being really should be able to roll. And it was live, and Mark Henry was like, and then like he looks up like, "Oh my God, you guys are pranking me on air."
And he's like, "I'm not gonna."
No, he got mad about it, and he just
used it,
and he rolled it. And they say you can see like McMahon in the background laughing, and everybody else is like, "Oh!"
It's like he's gonna kill us.
Yeah. And apparently, after the segment, McMahon told him, "If you ever get mad at anybody, do not, or like, don't get mad at anybody in the ring because you would kill them."
Yeah,
because he's actually so strong. So I mean, there was ways that they could have done that without being fantastical. But it's WWE.
It's Vince McMahon.
But yes, I would totally have a 1 hour's women's show that you could build.
I like how we went so far out. Sorry.
So you could build storylines so that you could build a Royal Rumble. That was my biggest problem with the Royal Rumble.
You can build independent storylines also.
So like the storylines go into it.
Because having women only have storylines as being how do I put this? As being just interested in one of the guys, like that whole Enzo Nia thing, which made me like vomit.
Yeah. Or like Alicia Fox and some of the 205 guys. I mean, that has been like really the only storylines that they've given them. But it would have built up Rumble better for the women if there was actually storylines and investment. It's all about being invested in the stories so that you actually care about who's going to win the Rumble. and they just went off of everybody loves Asuka. We're gonna have Asuka win.
Yeah.
Or
I mean, Asuka has the closest thing resembling a storyline because it's a streak right now.
So I mean, that's why I would have put the women's rumble on first, because there was zero investment.
Wow.
And
eerie.
And even the way they did do it, having Rousey come out the end totally undercut.
Yeah, it took Asuka's moment.
So I wouldn't have done that either. I would have saved that for either
Raw after
their own show or the Raw after. Yeah.
But I mean, and then to not even have Ronda Rousey show up after that, like she didn't go to Raw or SmackDown.
Because honestly, if you had their own women's show and then you had Rousey come out, what I would have done was have Baszler come out and just attack her.
Attack Rousey?
Yeah.
So yeah, I support this because Baszler is Bay. Baszler. No, she's my favorite of the MMA 4 horsewomen. And she's done some really great character work.
Sold on Baszler.
Right? After TakeOver.
Yeah.
She was incredible. I mean, like her in-ring stuff definitely still needs a whole lot of work.
It was good though.
But she knows exactly the right ring psychology for the character that she's playing. And she is so good at it already. And I think a lot of it has to do with a lot of her time she spent on the indies working with people like Mercedes Martinez, Mia Yim, Kyle O'Reilly, Bobby Fish, and Adam Cole.
But I mean, it's just you got to have your own women's show to push all these events. I would say that they probably actually have enough women that they could have a secondary title too.
Television.
Television network, women's
network champion,
women's U.S. champion.
If you're gonna go for incorporating how important the WWE network is.
I would actually do a network champion for NXT if I was them too. Men, you could have the men.
They should have a TV champion.
They should. But you could have a TV and a network
champion. Yeah. But I mean, like, just I mean for like the main roster, perhaps. Like, look at Ring of Honor's television championship.
Yeah. Or the old WCW TV title, which was always defended on TV every week. So it was like, that was your built-in main event.
That's the point.
If you didn't really have a main event, that was your built-in main event. And it got over up-and-coming and, lower veteran talent really to be thrown in between.
Right, I mean, definitely a lot of especially in Ring of Honor, their TV title is pretty important, and it sort of indicates who has a lot of really good potential. It's sort of like, I don't want to say a tester, but sort of to show, or sort of for the guys to show, I can run with the championship, I can be a champion. It's not, the biggest stage on Ring of Honor, but
right.
And it is a champion like some past TV champs, Jay Lethal, Marty Scurll.
I would totally push for that. Get in with Stephanie, like, hey, the women's network show.
You should do that. Because I as being and a pretty punk rock proletariat non-white chick, I'm like everything she stands against. So
true.
Like,
true, but maybe
the proletariat part specifically.
Maybe that she would be like, "Hey, this person's cool."
I can just.
I'm
hope
also
that,
cool because I'll be friends with her.
That Shane McMahon would like me. That's all. No, he wouldn't. No, he wouldn't. He'd pretend maybe.
No, they wouldn't think we work there. They would think we're catering or something. Clean this up. Or they spill their salad on the floor after the creative meeting.
And I'd just be like, only if I can record you yelling at me, Shane. That's all. And then he'd be so freaked out that.
Okay.
All right.
Perfect.